So I had an exit a couple years ago, and it was extraordinary. And it was a company that I started a decade and a half ago. And I'll tell you about it. So I was in the outsourcing business, and at the time, it was outsourcing for entrepreneurs. We were first to market. We were the only, well, there was one other player. They went out of business pretty quickly, and we were first to market. How many of you think there's a huge advantage to being first to market? I disagree. Most of the time, not a huge advantage. As a matter of fact, I always say you can always tell the pioneers because they're the ones with the arrows in their back. Yeah, we had a service that entrepreneurs needed, but they didn't want it because they didn't know it existed. And everybody's always trying to fill a need. You want to fill a want. People will pay anything for what they want. They will do anything to get what they want. I want the new Ferrari. I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean? And so they needed us. They didn't want us because they didn't know we existed. And I realized early on that I would have to figure out a way to carve out our own market. And so I decided to adopt an educational model. And so we began, I started speaking on stages, doing webinars, writing books, eventually became a New York Times bestselling author of 10 books, started speaking on stages, we started doing our events globally, and we began educating our prospects and turning them into clients. And it's a methodology the company still uses today. I'm on the board. But there were several tipping points in that business. But probably the biggest tipping point, or one of the biggest tipping points, was when we went from marketing to one to marketing to many. So many businesses market to one, but when I get up on a stage and speak to hundreds, if not thousands of people, I'm marketing to many. When I write a book, I write it once, but it goes out to hundreds of thousands of people. If I do a webinar, there's hundreds or maybe 1,000 people on that webinar. And so every time I opened my mouth, I was speaking to a crowd instead of one. How many of you think that grew my business exponentially? Say aye. Yeah, absolutely. And so not only did speaking on stages grow my business exponentially, but it changed my life. It was one of the most fulfilling things I ever did. It changed everything for me. I got to see 51 countries. I've spoken all over the world. I've got a chance to empower a gazillion people, and they empowered me right back. And one of my secret weapons is my manager, my booker, and that's Dannella Burnett, who's one of my dearest friends. Please welcome Dannella Burnett. Come on up here, Dannella. That's for you, my dear. So I asked Dannella to come out, and she graciously agreed, and I wanted her to share some ideas with you, thinking outside the box, and maybe looking at potentially, public speaking to grow your brand or your business. So Dee, you've got the stage.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daven. I appreciate you. What an incredible experience this has been so far. And when Daven asked me to come speak to you all today, I said, this is a little bit different crowd than I normally speak to, but I know that some of the people in that audience are going to want to take the stage. And some already are, and some of you may have what 72% of the world have, and that's a fear of taking this stage. How many of you a little trepidation about taking this stage? You don't have to raise your hand. I can see it's that deer in the headlights look. So you don't have to tell me who you are. There's an old saying in the speaking business that 72% would rather be in the casket than delivering the eulogy. But I will tell you, there's a lot of money looking over that casket, because when you take the stage, when you have everyone's attention, not only is there money to be made, there's impact to be made, and there's a lot of influence. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, because what I do know about this crowd, whether you're taking a stage now or you're thinking about taking the stage, you want to make an impact. You would not be in Daven's world if that wasn't you. So I have a couple of questions for you. How many of you have an expertise? Like you just know, I am damn good at something. Let me see a hand up for that. How many of you are passionate about taking that expertise out into the world? Like what you're good at is going to do some good in the world. I'm also a big believer in making a ton of money and doing good in the world. How many of you want to make a lot of money? All right, we're in the right place. Now, I've been a full-time entrepreneur since 2008, and I would tell you that Some days it felt like this, growing my business. I was growing my business through networking and referrals, and I was putting people like Daven on stages, but I had not taken the stage myself. And I'd grown a decent business networking and referrals, and the phone would ring and someone would say, Daven told me to call you. Someone else would say, Mona told me to call you, Tom told me to call you. And it was great at the end of the year, but month to month, I would have those $14,000 month, $1,400 month, $40,000 month, $400 month. I don't know if you all have ever experienced that in your entrepreneurial journey, but it's really hard to pay the bills and know when to market, when to bring on the new team member, when to invest in technology, when to grow your business when you don't know when the phone is going to ring. I felt like the best kept secret, but I was watching my clients and I'm like, do you ever have one of those moments as an entrepreneur where you're like, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night, and I just had an aha moment. They're controlling their cash flow from their calendar because they're taking the stage. So in 2017, I took the stage, and I realized what most of my clients knew, that speaking and events are one of the best ways to make active income as an entrepreneur. When you take your skills and talents to the stage, you can be seen, you can be heard. Even more important today than ever before, to be seen, to be heard. Because how many of you know at least a dozen realtors? When you go to buy that house, do you find the best realtor always? No. Do you find the cheapest realtor always? You go to the realtor that you've either most recently had interaction with or first comes to mind most of the time. You've got to be seen and heard if you want to get paid. So when Daven told me I was going to be speaking today, I went through all the things that I could have talked about today, and this is just a variety of things that I talk about on stages. But I knew what was important for this audience was old-fashioned, traditional working connections, but partnered with modern technology. So I want to share with you a little bit about the future of speaking and why you should all be including speaking in what you do. Did you hear the very last thing said before me? I'm looking for stages. Do you think there's a reason for that? Talking about money, talking about influence, talking about impact, stages. So I want to talk a little bit about what modern technology is doing with stages. Now, this was me in Georgia as an entrepreneur from 2008 to about 2017. We've done events from 25 people to 250,000 people. I had a catering company. We worked with speakers. We worked with entrepreneurs. Real diversity in what we did. I had a ton of fun, and it was a back-breaking ton of work. I decided in about 2017 I wanted just as much, if not more money, but I did not want to work as hard. So I took the stage. I was sitting in my office here in the kitchen, listening to Jim Rohn, listening to you being paraphrased, the result of the 5 people around you. And from my kitchen there, I loved everyone that I worked with and worked for me, but I was surrounded by dishwashers and cooks and servers. I had a team of 28 people, and I could not get out of that office. I was in that office far too many hours. And I said, I need to step out of this office. I need to let this go. And I need to only be surrounded by speakers and entrepreneurs that also want to do more. And so I took the stage in 2017. I started speaking myself. When I first started speaking, I didn't know how to breathe and speak at the same time. So at about minute 4, my lips turned blue. I got really, really breathy. Thank God I've learned how to do better because Daven gave me 20 minutes today, and we won't have to call EMTs today. We'll be fine. But I stepped up and everything changed. I went from having one business in 2008 in Georgia to now owning, founding, or being a co-founder of 5 businesses, all of which are doing pretty well. All of this changed and became possible when I took the stage. Here's a few pictures. I thought you guys would have fun going down memory lane with me. Some faces you'll recognize. These are all events that I've had the pleasure of either being in what we call the back right corner of the room, that's when I'm running the event, to taking the stage, and sometimes a combination of them. Some of you may have been at some of these events. Again, you'll recognize a few faces. My very first 3-day event of my own, Speakers Need to Speak, in January of 2020. We had launched Speakers Need to Speak as an agency to support speakers to get out on more stages. I had my first 3-day event of my own, multiple 6-figure 3-day event, 14 new clients to put on stages. At that point, they were all the stages that you step onto, because I knew what the rest of my 2020 was going to look like. In March, we added virtual stages to the mix. And so now, a stage might look like this, or a stage might be one that you step onto. But we still have a few challenges. The speaking and event world is fast, it's loud, and we only have so much time as an entrepreneur. So how do you get on more stages more quickly? I could share with you all today how you get on more stages. And if you're looking for more stages, sit down with me over the course of this next couple of days, and I'll tell you where you should be looking for more stages, or you simply outsource. You hire somebody like me to do for you what you shouldn't be doing yourself, and you get out on more stages where you make more money. That's exactly what we started in 2019, was speakers needed to speak. They need to focus on what's happening from the stage and beyond, because the money starts on the stage, but it happens afterwards. The work to get on the stage is not where you make your money. So we decided we wanted to focus more on getting our speakers on bigger and better stages and let our speakers do what they do well. But it's not about the talk. Really, what speakers need to do is they need to be problem solvers. You're an entrepreneur. You solve problems. That's what you get paid for. So speaking is not the destination. Speaking is the fuel for your entrepreneurial engine. It's what fuels you getting more clients, getting more cash flow, getting more connection, and getting recognized. So you need to be an expert that solves problems. You need to know specifically who you're solving that problem for. Speakers often come to me thinking there aren't enough stages and that's the problem. I'm going to show you that that's not the problem. Speaking in the right stages can be the challenge. So you need to know who has the problem so you can get in front of the right audience with the right challenges, so that when you connect with them, they know that you're speaking to them. When we used to put Daven on stages and he would first start talking about his VA services and his outsourcing services, we put him in front of entrepreneurs who were busy, who were starting off, 4, 5, and 6-figure entrepreneurs who were ready to get their first team member, but they didn't know about VA services yet. It would not have done well to put him in front of the local PTO or an alumni association, people who were not looking to have that problem solved. So knowing who your people are and where they are already seeking the solutions that you have, that's where the magic happens. So you need to know where that right fit client is in the right fit audience. And here's where we get to some of the fun of what's going on in the industry today. Many think there aren't enough speaking opportunities. The reality is more speaking opportunities than ever before. Between social media live shows, which were not a thing before 2020, the podcast explosion, virtual, in-person, and hybrid events. So you can speak directly in front of the audience, or you can speak in the Brady Bunch boxes. Either way, there's a ton of money to be had. And what I love is you can stay local, impact globally, and get on more stages. I'm going to come back to AI because I have a screen at the end that you're going to want to take a picture of that really gets into how we're using modern technology on stages today to both get more stages as well as engage even more with the audience. But I want to talk briefly about the ways that you make money from the stage. It's very simple. Before, during, and after. Those of you that grabbed a pen from the front, write that down. Before, during, and after. Really quickly, I'll go through these. Getting paid before, being a keynote speaker, doing corporate training. You can get paid before you take the stage. Critically important that you're bringing value to the audience, but even more important that you show your value to the entity that's writing the check. So it's not that you're a health and wellness coach bringing value to the employees, how they can be more productive, they can feel better while they're doing their jobs. It's important that you show the company that they're going to have more productive employees, less sick time, less employee turnover, and they will pay you to take their stage. Show the value to your client, which is the entity writing the check. Typically a university, a corporation, or an association. You can get paid during, selling from the stage. Some of my most lucrative hours, and I'll tell you Daven's most lucrative hours, have been making an offer from the stage to an audience, and you see them run to the back of the room, fill out the forms, and you make money while you're still on the stage. It's a ton of fun as well. Or the most common way of speaking today is speaking for leads, speaking to an audience and inviting them to continue the conversation to the sale after the stage. And getting paid more, creating your own stage, your own event. We specialize in 3-day events for entrepreneurs with high ticket offers, meaning you have something of value for $10,000 or more. We create a 3-day event around that. 94% of my 3-day event clients do $100,000 to multiple millions of dollars in 3 days. How many of you would like that for some active income? Let's talk about it while we're here. What is your 3-day event? What does your multiple 6-figure weekend look like? And now I'm going to touch base on the AI. We've added AI to what we do for our speakers. It's so exciting right now. Things we used to do manually, now using generative and agentic AI, we're able to match our speakers to stages even faster and get them out on more stages. So we've just launched this program, I'm happy to tell you about it, where we're working on your behalf 365 days out of the year to get you on more stages. And go ahead and take a picture of this. Most of these are AI resources I've used. Some of them are brand new. 6 different ways that you can help your speaking and event engaging in the audience, getting things like PowerPoints done faster, researching faster. Every time you take the stage, 80% of your message is going to be your core message, and 20% you want to customize for the audience in front of you. So you need to do a little bit of research. So this is all different AI, and this is changing all the time, but it's an exciting place to be in speaking and events, to grow your business, to increase your income, your influence, and your impact, but using modern technology to make it go faster, more efficiently, and make a lot more money. So let's connect. If you're currently a speaker, go to speakergigs.com. Tell us about you so that we can put you on more stages. There's a flyer that the team is passing out. We've got an event coming up, visibility, free ticket for you. And if you didn't grab it coming in, little gift for you, including a pen from my co-founders at Icon Maker, Tom Matson and Cheryl Plouffe. Come meet us at Strategic Sunrise every morning, and let's talk about getting you on more stages to impact the world, to grow your business, grow your influence, your income, and your impact. Because I can't help everyone, but there is somebody who's staring at the ceiling at 3 o'clock this morning, who has a problem. They have more month than money. They don't like who they see in the mirror. They're concerned about the family around them. They want to grow their business. You have the solutions for them. Help me help them by putting you on a stage.
I love it. Dannella Burnett.